How to make an ice cream cake. There are many kinds of birthday cakes, but somehow ice cream cakes seem more festive because they combine two treats in one. Ice cream cakes may be somewhat high maintenance, but if you are willing to spend the extra time, making one isn't really that complicated. There are several techniques that you can use, depending on how polished you want your final product to be. The easiest is to simply stack alternate layers of ice cream and graham crackers and then call it a day. But where's the fun in that, right? If you are looking for something a little more impressive, here's how to make an ice cream cake that's indeed worthy of a celebration. 1. To make an ice cream cake that looks and tastes like it came from a decent pastry shop, all that you will need is a sponge cake base, 2 flavors of ice cream, a can of whipped cream, or buttercream frosting if you're feeling fancy, and your choice of garnish, like chocolate chips, sprinkles, nuts, etc. For the sponge cake base, you can bake one from scratch if you prefer, but in this case, using a boxed mix isn't that horrible because it will be frozen and then smothered in ice cream. This gives you a bit of leeway when it comes to flavor and moistness. 2. As for the 2 ice cream flavors, one will be the frosting, while the other will be used as the filling. The frosting layer should be something smooth, like vanilla, plain chocolate, strawberry, etc. You could probably get away with something a little bit gritty, like cookies and cream, but chunky ones like Rocky Road are bound to give you a lot of trouble. Reserve the chunkiness for the flavor that you will be using as filling. 3. Prepare your cake base. This should be a no-brainer if you are using a boxed mix. Your ice cream cake should have at least 2 layers of cake, so divide the cake batter between 2 13 by 9 inch pans and pop them in the oven. 4. After the cake is done, let it cool completely. While waiting, take the filling ice cream out of the freezer to let it soften a bit and make spreading a lot easier. You want the consistency to be somewhat mushy. 5. Trim the tops of the cake base so that you get a flat surface on both sides. 6. Wash one of the cake pans that you use for baking and place a layer of plastic wrap over its bottom. Make sure that the plastic wrap overhangs the edges by at least 6 inches on each side so that you can pull it up with ease later when you need to release the ice cream from the pan. 7. Scoop the filling ice cream all over the bottom of the pan and use an icing spatula to make it smooth and level. This will be the middle layer of your ice cream cake, so make it nice and thick. Fold the overhanging ends of the plastic wrap over so that it covers the base layer, and then store the pan in the freezer to let it set for a few hours. 8. After the base layer has had time to set, it is time to stack the layers all together. On your cake plate, lay the bottom cake layer down and spread a thin layer of the frosting ice cream on top of it. 9. Carefully lift up the ice cream slab from the cake pan and lay it on top of the bottom layer, making sure that both are aligned. Remove the plastic wrap. 10. Smear some more of the frosting ice cream on top of the ice cream slab and lay the top cake layer on top. At this point, you basically have a giant ice cream sandwich. 11. Spread a thin layer of frosting all over the top and the sides of your ice cream sandwich. You don't have to make this perfect because this is just the crumb coat that will help hold everything together. 12. Put the cake into the freezer for several hours to let everything fuse together. Store the frosting in the freezer too. 13. Take out the frosting ice cream a half hour before finishing the rest of the ice cream cake decorating. Ideally, the ice cream should have a consistency similar to frosting, creamy but not dripping. 14. Frost the entire cake generously. A large icing knife is perfect for getting even and smooth layers. Work quickly to avoid melting. If needed, take a few breaks in between to pop the ice cream cake back into the freezer. 15. Pipe buttercream frosting or use canned whipped cream to create designs like peaks and swirls. Finish off with your choice of garnish. Be forewarned, learning how to make ice cream cake takes a lot of effort, especially because ice cream is not the easiest ingredient to shape and manipulate. However, even if your designs may not look great at first, it's really pretty impossible to mess up the flavor of this dessert. An interesting variation on this cold dessert are ice cream cupcakes. You get the same combination of cake and ice cream, except in individual servings, and every guest can pick their own toppings.